another just small stream, nothing massive. Basically, going to be a roundup of a talk of what I thought of Weekend League, what could it improved on, other things like that, and I'll tell you the stats of players as well. So starting off, I thought Weekend League was a bit shit. That's my honest opinion. The gameplay, the way it did anything, the passing, the ability to like pass balls and stuff like that, from the defense forward was shit. It wasn't very good at all, and it was a bit annoying that it really caused a lot of it caused a lot of problems instead of solutions. Because I would have loved to have some of the players that I was playing with at the beginning of this Weekend League were really, really good, but it was unfortunately I had to just stop using them because it was just not it's not the way. So starting off in goal, Mendy, I thought he was alright. I thought he was okay. There was a game that I played where it was just going past him no matter what, and it was really unfortunate. Every time the ball was getting hit, it was just going. He was diving right, the ball would take a deflection and it would go to the left. And it was just stuff like that that really did not help at all. And I thought for this weekend, I would give him a 6 out of 10. I thought he was average at best. And yeah, could probably do better, but I don't know. I think it's probably because of other things as well. But a 6 out of 10, and yeah, that's what I'm going to say on Mendy. Well, really, they were okay. A lot of times it would leak goals through, and I think it was because of the gameplay of the time. But also, what I thought it was the chem styles that I've got on them, the shadow chem styles. I don't know if they are really the I don't know if they're really the right chem styles for these defenders, as I think maybe an anchor would probably do a lot better. Because when I was playing, it was quite obvious that Koulibaly couldn't jump, and a lot of times he just couldn't really get to the ball. And I was a bit confused. Like, he's got the perfect card. The amount of times I've been talking to my friends about him, he is like the number one centre back. And I was just getting so confused. Like, he's got the stats right there: 32 pace, 88 defending, 85 physicality. It's just, you can't go wrong with that. But in the end, it was not the case. And I thought in his performances, I'll give him a 7 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10, because I think if he had a better weekend, then possibly. Then we got Thiago Silva. Flashback Thiago Silva. Again, he's got good physicality, and I'm surprised he didn't win a ball in the air. It was the one thing that I was a bit surprised about, like the amount of times people would like crossing it in, and it would just go over everyone. Like, it would not really landing on anyone's heads. And specifically as well, like, I was surprised Thiago Silva did not get to the ball as good as I thought he would do. But this is what I think. This is what I'm saying. Like, maybe an anchor is probably the way to go with the defenders, because it was just really too easy defense, like in the attack, to really kind of just get the ball. So that was one other thing I thought needed going on. And I'll give Thiago Silva possibly a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, someone like that. I thought he could have been a lot more better, but unfortunately, he would do. He was all he was doing his job somewhat, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. Then we got Robertson, and I thought he was probably one of the star players all the time. Him and Trent were doing really, really well to progress the ball forward. And for Robertson, he did get 2 assists, and which is all right. It's not massive, but it was probably because a lot of people I was playing against that were so based on the right side of their attack. So it was like you're pinning everything on Robertson to do everything, and he was doing everything, and it was really annoying. Like, the amount of times it was going to that side and Robertson's side, and it was just like, well, there's nothing really here to attack. Like, all I had to do was cuss it back in the middle and then play forward. A lot of the times that was the case. So yeah, I thought of that, and I got to say Robertson, to be fair to him, did really really well, and I give him an 8 out of 10. Possibly could be a bit like, obviously it's their base cards and everything. I think with probably an upgrade, like it may be up to an 88 or maybe an 89, he could be a really good player to use. But we will see if he gets any of those informs or player to watches or whatever. Then Trent Alexander-Arnold, again, solid all round. He was progressing. He had better dribbling. I've got to say this. He had better dribbling than most of my players in the team. And that's saying something. Like, this guy could hold the ball. He could do whatever with the ball. He was able to dribble past people like nothing. And it was quite surprising to me because I had Dest, and Dest was doing the exact same thing. But Trent was doing it just a little bit better. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, Trent is definitely the one to keep playing here. And with I think he had 4 assists that whole thing. It was really decent. I'll give him an 8 out of 10, like Robertson. He was quality all around, and I can't go wrong with that. So, yep, Trent with 8 out of 10. And then we go to the midfield. Now, starting off, I want to talk about Fabinho. Fabinho, for me, was definitely the highlight of the midfield most of the time. With one man match to his name, 1 goal and 2 assists, I thought he was pretty good defensively as well. I even at times, I played him in centre-back, and he would play centre-back really, really well. But I was playing him CDM, and the reason I played him in CDM was to basically help out with certain things, control the game, be able to get hold of the ball, play around with the ball, and find certain passes that cause a lot of sense, give a bit of a breathing gap to a lot of the opposition. But what I found in the game when I was playing in the midfield, definitely in foot champs, was a lot of the time the ball was going everywhere. It was going from right. It would go from like the right side to the left side to the right side to the left side to striker to back to the defence. It was going all over the place, and it had no sense of control whatsoever. But when I had games where they would play like superb, like they were playing really, really, really good, and you could see in like the games and the footage on that, Fabinho was definitely one of those that was just holding the ball, playing it right, play it to the cam, play it to the right cam, left cam, whatever. Even at times I would play potentially like a 4-3-3, and even play to the right centre mid, left centre mid, doing what he needs doing. And at the beginning, I had Thiago and Paqueta in my team, which I thought I expected a lot more better from Paqueta and Thiago. But Fabinho, for me, I'll give him a solid 8 out of 10. Like, I mean, a solid 8 out of 10. I think with obviously more upgrades, like if he gets Team of the Weeks and stuff like that and everything, I think it would be a banging card. If he could get up to like 70 pace, or like just anything higher than 70 pace, then he would be an absolute baller. Like, this guy was fantastic. And with the engine chemistry style on him, it just helped him so much, really did. So definitely with that. And then with Thiago, obviously not in the starting 11, this is the finals 11 that finished foot champs. Thiago, I really expected more from him. No goals, no assists. I did have him as my like more attacking player, but it was just really not the case. He was a bit lethargic, it was a bit slow, and I think it's probably down to his card, but like I honestly expected more from him, and I'll give Thiago 4 out of 10. He was not impressive whatsoever. Paqueta, 2 goals, 2 assists. Again, a bit like Thiago, I expected a lot more, and definitely with the shadow on him. Defensively, I played when I was playing a back 2, a back 3 and a 4-2-3-1, or even a 3-5-2. Paqueta wasn't really the guy. He seemed to be a bit lazy, like a bit kind of like not really into the game. So I was a bit kind of like, you know what would be better? Potentially kind of bringing in somebody else, and that's what I did in the end. But I gotta say, Paqueta with 2 goals, 2 assists, it's not half bad. Could have been better though, and I'll take that. So with that as well, It was the same thing with Paqueta and Thiago. Like, a lot of times, it was just kind of like not really there, and it could have been so much more better. So yeah. Going up though, we've got Anthony. Anthony as well. He got 4 man of the matches to his name, and I thought he was quality, absolutely quality. A lot of times he would kind of be dozing off. I think that was the one thing that really annoyed me, was that at times he would be really quiet. He'd be really quiet, and he wouldn't really get into the game. It was kind of like he wasn't really bothered at times. But then when he did start playing, he did start playing really, really well. And it was just that in the end. Sorry, I'm having a cut. But basically, with Anthony, he was definitely one of the top goal scorers. And he was the second top goal scorer, but he was the top assistant player. Surprisingly enough, he was definitely the top assistant player by 2. And I think what made him the top assistant player, though, was the fact that everyone else was kind of really quiet. Like, everyone else was really, really, really quiet. Everyone else in the attack wasn't really given that killer ball. And to be fair to him, though, if I played Odegaard more games, I think Odegaard would have surpassed him quite easily. But in the end, it was obviously I finished all the games and everything like that. So, and because I got Odegaard a lot more later on. Like, Anthony was at the very start. I think he did play like all the games at the very beginning. Did I record stats at the pre-qualifiers? I probably should do that. Because then it gives me more information to look into. But yeah, I fully expected. I think for Anthony, I'll give him a 7 out of 10, a solid 7 out of 10, a positive 7 out of 10. Just a few more things, though. I think specifically FIFA, maybe giving him upgrade 100%. I think he could definitely do with an upgrade. But not just that. I think with the current game mechanics at the moment, it really does die down his card a little bit. But maybe we'll wait and see. Maybe with an upgrade, with like an 84 or something, he becomes an absolute baller. And next up would be Guedes. Guedes played at left wing, and I fully expected more from him, but he was just quiet in the end. I was a bit disappointed. 1 goal to his name, and that's basically it. Also, by the way, Anthony got 12 goals, 10 assists, but Guedes got only 1, and I thought that was pretty poor. He seemed to be very not into it, so I'll give him a 4 out of 10, probably a 2 out of 10. Harry Kane, I did have Harry Kane up front, and the reason I had Harry Kane up front because he was a clinical goal scorer. 5-star weak foot helps a lot, and I thought, let's get Harry Kane on. But in the end, it wasn't supposed to be, as I couldn't fit. I really wanted to keep Harry Kane in this system, but I couldn't fit him in. So I just gave up, and I went with this formation and everything. And the reason I wanted to keep Harry Kane in was because he was driving a lot of people towards him, and everyone else was getting the space. And the games where we did play really, really, really well was with him in that starting 11. And when we got to the likes of Sorlov, it then shifted to Martin Odegaard, where it came down to who did what and who did who. And I really do want to get Odegaard's road to the knockouts, because that card does look really, really good. And I think with just that as well, the extra bit of pace, like his pace on this is 76, on that it's like 80, so even better. And with Harry Kane, he got the most man of the matches. He got 5 man of the matches. He did get 11 goals and 4 assists to him, and I've got to say he was all right, and he was pretty good. So, but then moving on to possibly the absolute broken card on this game was Sorlov. What a card this guy is, and I can't put forward on how much this guy just seems to dominate games so easily, and and it was just crazy to me how this guy can just do what he does with the card he's got. He is a cheap Haaland. If you want to find a cheap Haaland, this is your guy. And he got 3 man of the matches, but he got 17 goals and 8 assists. He was quality. And for an 84 in form, I'll give him a 9 out of 10. There was a few things he could probably work on, but I think it's because of the restrictions of FIFA. But not just that, the restrictions of his agility and balance. I think if that was like at least 70 or 75, like he would have been a much more better card. But unfortunately, that was not the case. But you make do with what you got, and he was absolutely phenomenal. Like, this guy was a powerhouse. He was definitely one person to really watch out for. And with 17 goals and 8 assists, you can't go wrong. And for him, a 9 out of 10, potentially a 10 out of 10. But it kind of, I'm leaning towards more 9 out of 10. There's a few things he could possibly work on, but I go, a good 9 out of 10. A good 9 out of 10. Then we got Gabriel Jesus, and then Gabriel Jesus, for me, he got 6 goals, 2 assists. Bench player, really. Came on, got some goals, did whatever he needed to do. All he was really was if I needed pace, he was the guy. Like, tactics, what was going on inside the bench or whatever. If let's say nothing's working in the start 11, I just need that extra bit of pace. Gabriel Jesus was that extra bit of pace, and it worked. At times he got me killer goals, at times he got me wins where it was not on my side, or even at times where it was really kind of dominating, but I just still needed that extra bit of pace. I'd just bring him on and he'll get himself a goal. He was very good at doing that. He was very good at even like picking out the right passes at times, even though only getting 2 assists. I thought he would have probably got more, but like, if you look at his card, like, since I had him at the very beginning, you could see like he does get goals, and yeah, I was actually really happy with him. As a bench player, I'll give him a solid 7 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10. I'm kind of leaning towards more up, like I'm really going up, and I mean like 8 out of 10, just because he wasn't really starting at all. But I'm happy with it. I think I'm happy with a 7 out of 10 or maybe a 6 out of 10, something like that. And yeah, solid. Jordan Sancho, I really expected more from this guy. Only got 1 assist. And with that card, like, I really thought this guy was going to be something else. Like, 5-star skill moves as well. But he wasn't the case. Bit boring in the end. He just got lost on the ball. He was kind of just shambles, really. It seemed like he just got scared every 2 seconds, every time somebody came towards him. And I was like, you know what? He isn't the guy I'm looking for. And I put him on the bench then. And in the end, he only got 1 assist. So I'll give him a rating of 4 out of 10, maybe a 3 out of 10. Really poor. And then we got Zaniolo. Now, he didn't really get anywhere with anything, really. But he was definitely a player that brought a lot of attention to him. And every time I bring him on in cam, or at right cam, or centre cam, or something like that, he would do the job. But it was a bit unfortunate for him to not really get any goals or assists. And it was a bit unfortunate that he had only little as time as he had. But every time he did come on the pitch, though, he did make a difference. And it would either be something like he would make the right pass, it would go straight to Odegaard or something, and Odegaard would play it forward, or Zaniolo, as like at times he would do certain things, play it to like the CDMs. He would just do the right things, and with that pace as well, he just brought an attention to him. He made defenders work, and I would swap him with like Ozabola or maybe Anthony at times, and he would just do the job. He would do really, really well. For him, I'll give him a 5 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10. Just for an average performance. I think he had an average performance, but he did come on and do some difference. Then we got Pellegrini. Now, Pellegrini for me was definitely the backup CDM, or my backup centre defensive midfield. You'd be my backup player if I needed a bit of more legs on there, or a bit of pace on there, just to basically keep up the midfield, or keep up the attack, even at times I play him in cam. And I really expecting more from Pellegrini, because when I was playing with this card during qualifiers, and even in division rivals. He would be definitely the one player you would have to watch out at times. And if I basically show you stats, in 30 games played, 18 goals scored and 14 assists. He was definitely he had the right everything here. Leadership, finesse shot, playmaker, outside the foot shot, team player. Even at times, he would even get goals in division rivals and everything. And even in centre mid, he would get goals. Like, he was just quality at doing that. But for the foot champs, he didn't really have that. I don't know what it was. It's like FIFA deactivated him and said, you know what, you're not having the full performance of Pellegrini on foot champs. We're going to let everyone else get that extra head of you. And that really annoyed me. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to make that really, really annoy me. But I really did think Pellegrini, as a centre defensive midfielder, he was all right. I'll give him a 5 out of 10. Nothing massive, nothing too poor. He was pretty all right. And when at times I need him to do a bit of running, a bit of defensive work, I'll swap him for Moreno or something, and he'll do the job, and he'll do really, really well. And even at times as well, where I was playing a 3-5-2, Pellegrini and Moreno would do all right. But maybe at times I'll put Pellegrini and Ben into the team, and these two would do all right. So average performance, 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, something like that. And then again, Benacer, he got 1 goal to his name. He did score a clinical goal. I gotta say, when I needed him to score goals, or needed somebody to score goals, I was not expecting this guy to score a goal, and he only scored that 1 important goal, and that was it. And this guy, 1 goal, he just he saved it. He really saved it. So yeah, I thought he was all right though. 6 out of 10, something like that, I would say as well. Pretty average. And for an 82 rated player, like, when you're going against like Valverde and all that stuff, and still be able to keep on the pace of them and do really, really to do well there, then you've got yourself a good player here. So definitely a 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, something like that. Average performance, nothing too massive. Then we've got Dest. Now, every time we bring this guy on, it would basically back up to Trent. Like, you play on the right side. Anyone on the right side, like, he can play right mid, he can play right back, right wing back. Doesn't matter. He can play there. He did all right. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Seems all right. 6 out of 10, pretty decent. So, yeah. And then we've got a few other players here that I've written down. Robertson didn't really have anything in the game. Bit of a poor performance, 4 out of 10. And then we go down to Maddison's in form. I did have Maddison's in form. I really expected more than what I got given. Got only 1 assist, and then I sold him because he was just not getting anywhere. So I give that possibly a 4 out of 10. Probably 4 out of 10. And then we got Azerbaijan, who I got to say, he was all right. Nothing special. For an 84 with just as little pace as he got, it's a bit annoying. Like, he does need that pace to kind of just boost him up. But unfortunately, it was not the case. But when he got inside the box, he got himself 2 goals. He got 2 goals. There was 1 game where he did get 2 goals, and it was all right. Like, I'll give him a 4 out of 10. Nothing special, just did all right and did okay. And then we got Moreno. Moreno, 3 assists. He did get, to be fair to him, a man of the match display, which was pretty decent. I can't lie about that. He was pretty good defensively as well. A bit like Fabinho. Like, I think with his current rate, like his card compared to Fabinho's, anything like dribbling, passing, shoot, as you can see there, like anything attacking side of things, Moreno was doing it. Moreno was the baller. He was the guy. And he was definitely that. He was definitely that guy. He was definitely that guy that could hold the midfield, could do well, and maybe get the odd assist every now and then. And he did get 3 assists. And for me personally, he was all right. Nothing too special, but at times when we're playing with Fabinho, both of them would link up really, really well. So I had him last year as well, and he was all right last year. But this year, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I think a solid 7 out of 10, a positive 7 out of 10. Really did do well in the midfield. Midfield battles at times, fair enough, on this FIFA are pretty lame. And I am trying to find solutions towards that. But with Moreno, he did kind of pulled some of that weight off my shoulders at times, just because of how good his card is. So, and then we got Martin Odegaard, probably the player who has saved this midfield in the attacking side of things at times so much. With 6 goals scored, 8 assists. Like I said earlier, if he had played more games, he would probably be the most assisted player in this team by a long shot. Like, he was doing everything right in the attack. And I did have like sort of Mount, and when I was using Mount in like division rivals, it wasn't really the case. But I think it was just his 5-star skill moves, everything about him, like he was just quality. Even though he has only got 2-star weak foot, but you don't really need to worry about that when he's got an outside of the foot shot trait, solid player trait, flair trait, playmaker trait, technical dribbler. Like his card is just quality, and I thought it was absolute quality. This is why I really want to get his 86, because that 86 card, that card will be something that I want really much. So yeah, for me, like I said, he saved the attack. He gave the attack something that I was lacking with the likes of Thiago and Paqueta. So if I'd say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, I think that's solid for Odegaard. And I think for the whole team display, for the whole team, I would give it possibly a 6 out of 10. I've definitely made better teams than this before. Definitely at this stage of FIFA as well, at like the very beginning of FIFA. But yeah, so it was all right. In the end, I didn't really get anything in my rewards at all, which probably annoyed me a little bit more about that. Because I really did think, like, in the end, I could have got someone very, very good, but I didn't. And with the likes of this game definitely needs a reality check with it, because it was just so poor at times in the attack or in the defense or in the midfield. It just made no sense. Like, I had times where Robertson, I was trying to clear a ball with Robertson, and it would pass it along to the attacker, and he would score a goal. It was ridiculous. Some of the stuff that was happening, it was ridiculous. So, like, for this week of FIFA, team performance, I'll give it a good, like, 6 out of 10. But for EA's this weekend of FIFA, like, the gameplay wise, the whole thing, it could have been a 2 out of 10. The game is broken, and it sorely needs an update. And it's crazy to say that it sorely needs an update now, and like, compared to last FIFA. Like, last FIFA would say, oh yeah, this FIFA's actually alright, it's fine. You don't really need to make an update so quickly. But this needs an update, and it needs an update as soon as possible, because, oh my god, can it really let you down? I gotta say, throughout this whole weekend, the problem with this weekend league was it was a huge letdown. That's all it was. It was a massive letdown. And I'm annoyed to say that this was a massive letdown, even though this is a good quality team. It's a good quality team, but it was FIFA like really letting it down. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do like and do subscribe. I will release some footage of this team in games and all that stuff. And I have got some footage of previous games with likes of Harry Kane and what the team looked like beforehand. So you get a chance to see that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do like, do subscribe, and see you next time.